George M. Lamsa, A Brief Biography. George Mamishisho Lamsa, Syriac Georgis LMS, was an Assyrian scholar, author, and Bible translator born on August 5, 1892, in the village of Marbishu, located in what is now eastern Turkey, near the modern borders with Iraq and Iran. Raised in a remote Assyrian Christian community, Lamsa grew up speaking Neo-Aramaic as his native language, a dialect closely related to the Syriac used in the Peshitta, the ancient Eastern Christian version of the Bible. This environment, isolated from Western influences, preserved customs, manners, and idioms remarkably similar to those of biblical times, which profoundly shaped his lifelong work. As the firstborn son, Lamsa was dedicated to God by his devout mother shortly after birth. His early childhood involved tending sheep, but at age 12, following his mother's death, tribesmen renewed the vow in a traditional ceremony, sacrificing an ox and marking his head with its blood. This event, which Lamsa later described as a pivotal spiritual calling, instilled in him a deep sense of divine purpose. He never married, viewing his life as wholly devoted to scholarship and translation. Lamsa's formal education began under the priests and deacons of the ancient Church of the East, the Assyrian Christian tradition with Nestorian roots. He excelled, graduating with the highest honors from the Archbishop of Canterbury's colleges in Iran and Turkey, earning a Bachelor of Arts degree. He continued studies at the Imperial University in Constantinople, now Istanbul, but World War I disrupted his life in 1915. As Turkish forces invaded Assyrian regions, Lamsa fled first to South America via Argentina. There, he endured hardships, knowing only 3 Spanish words: water, work, and bread, while laboring in the British Merchant Marine, on railroads, in mines, and as a printer, a skill learned in college. These years honed his resolve and sparked his translation work. Struggling with English idioms, Lamsa began rendering Aramaic scriptures into accessible English, believing it would bridge ancient texts with modern readers. He immigrated to the United States around 1916-1917, adopting the name George upon arrival, and became a U.S. citizen in 1923. In America, Lamsa established himself as a prolific author and lecturer, earning a Doctor of Theology, PhD, and fellowship in the Royal Society of Arts, FRSA. He founded the Aramaic Bible Society and became a member of the Council for Patriarch Ishai Shimon of the Church of the East, even representing it as an observer at the Vatican Council in 1964. His most enduring legacy is his English translations of the Bible from the Aramaic Peshitta, which he championed as the closest to the original words of Jesus and the Apostles. Key works include the 4 Gospels, 1933, the New Testament. According to the Eastern Text, 1940, the Holy Bible from Ancient Eastern Text, Full Old and New Testaments, 1957. Idioms in the Bible Explained, and A Key to the Original Gospels, 1957, which clarified nearly 1,000 cultural expressions, metaphors, and figures of speech. Lamsa argued that the Peshitta's Aramaic captured nuances lost in Greek translations, such as the idiom, "Let me bury my father," Matthew 8:21, which he interpreted as, "Let me care for my aging father until his natural death," rather than a literal burial. His approach emphasized the Bible's Eastern cultural context, drawing from his upbringing to illuminate texts for Western audiences. While revered by some for making the Bible more relatable, especially among Assyrian diaspora and interfaith groups, Lamsa's methods drew criticism from scholars. Critics, including Aramaicist Bruce Chilton, accused him of conflating first-century Aramaic with later Syriac and overextending word meanings based on personal or communal traditions rather than textual evidence. His unorthodox views, influenced by Nestorianism, led some to label him a cultic figure rather than a mainstream evangelical scholar, particularly for claims that he alone was divinely inspired to interpret the scriptures accurately. Groups like the Iglesia Ni Cristo have cited his translations selectively to support Unitarian doctrines, though his work on verses like Acts 20:28 actually aligns more with Trinitarian interpretations. Lamsa passed away on September 22, 1975, just one day before the current date of September 23, 2025, marking the 50th anniversary of his death this week. His influence persists through reprinted works and organizations like the Noura Foundation and Aramaic Bible Institute, which continue to promote his translations and cultural insights. For deeper reading, The Life of Dr. George M. Lamsa, 1966, co-authored with Tom Ollier, offers a personal account.